Hello and welcome to lesson 4 of Challenging Resource Management. So this one's on the changing demand and provision of resources in the UK create opportunities and challenges, and we're still going with food. Okay, so it's an overview of food, and in particular today you're going to focus on a couple of things. One, what agribusiness is, and also what food miles are. Okay, so food miles is a term which refers to the distance food is transported from the time of its production until it reaches the consumer. So how far is your food actually moved until you get to buy it and then eat it. Okay, and we use food miles to assess the environmental damage caused by food, particularly with reference to global warming. So we'll have a look at that in a moment. Okay, and you can see there, you know, if you like bananas, the average food miles for bananas is 5,500 miles, generating 500 grams of carbon. Strawberries by boat would generate 30 grams of carbon, and on average move 907 miles to the UK. You might have had Spanish strawberries, for example. Oranges tend to travel on average 1,700 miles, generating 120 grams of carbon. Okay, the alternative to food miles is to go for local food sourcing, so food grown within 100 miles of its point of purchase or consumption. We'll have a look at that. And then the other bit of today's lesson is agribusiness. So we've seen these massive farms open that are run along pure business model farms. So you've got lots of revenue, huge amounts of manufacture, distribution of farm equipment, lots of capital investment in the farming. So if we just take a look at the web page associated with this, there's a link on your worksheet. You've got the definitions there for agribusiness, carbon footprint, how much greenhouse gases we produce, and then there's one for food miles there. You've seen the organic stuff on the previous lesson, okay, but the food miles stuff, you've just seen that graphic. We are increasingly interested in food miles because increasing amounts of our food are travelling to us by air freight, which gives us the worst type of transport for air pollution. Okay, so if you take our fruit, 89% of our fruit travels to the UK. We don't grow it ourselves. Okay, we also transport food, things that we can actually grow here, including potatoes. So this is a great little fact from the British Potato Council. I bet you didn't know they existed. The UK imports 350,000 tonnes of potatoes per year, including during potato season. And on the last lesson, you saw that Kenya benefits massively from importing foods into the UK. So then there's a good video there on explaining carbon footprint with a cheeseburger. You could take a look at that. But we do worry about food miles because it produces a lot of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, nitrous oxides. Okay. And then there's all the other things that go along with moving our food. Packaging, plastic packaging, the retail spaces need refrigeration, electricity, and so on. And then there's the agricultural use of carbon as well for actually producing our food. So there are alternatives. You could grow some of your own food on an allotment in the UK. You could eat seasonally, grown in the UK. There's the Red Tractor Food Standards label, which assures that your food is British. And you could try and use local farmers markets as well. Agribusiness, those are huge businesses that have replaced a lot of the smaller farms that used to make up the UK. And these forms have increased food production by increasing in size by buying up smaller farms, increasing in size by getting rid of things like hedgerows and draining wetlands, which have obvious environmental consequences. Producing only one crop or cropping in monocultures in big quantities, using amounts of chemicals in fertilizers and pesticides, trying to use modern technology like combine harvesters and better seeds, and using modern production methods. So those are all designed to increase the amount of food that we get. So they have obvious advantages because they guarantee our food supply and they keep it secure. They make sure that we've got food on the table. Okay, we get good quality food as well. But it does mean that there's fewer people working in farming. Some small farmers are forced out of business and they have a lot of power over the price of the food that we get. Okay, so we've covered that. a little bit there on the agribusiness. Then you can think about the positives and the negatives. So your work, okay, you have to estimate how far you think these food types have travelled in the table. Okay, then go to foodmiles.com, type the food stuff in and the place, and you'll be able to work out how far it's actually travelled. And the website will also tell you how much carbon dioxide is produced. And then once you've done that, you can calculate a mean for each column. So you'd add up all of the numbers and divide by 6, and that will give you the mean. You can write down how local food sources try to cut down on food miles, and then the agribusiness, how does it try to increase the amount of food. Okay, the last little bit on this lesson for you to do is to watch this video on chicken meat production. Now there is a bit between 4 and 6 minutes where there's a bit of they pluck the feathers out of some dead birds and so on, they cut up some meat. So if you are sensitive or you know, you've got moral objections to watching that sort of thing, please, you don't have to watch the video, or you could skip the video completely if you wanted, but between 4 and 6 minutes you could skip across. But then once you've watched the other bits of the video, you could get what arguments are there for industrial chicken agribusiness and what arguments are there against. So it's just a little example. Okay, and then you could have a little think about whether you agree with organic or industrial farming, local food or imported food. Do we go for agribusiness or food from small-scale farmers? Okay, so I'll finish up with a little dad joke. Did you hear that the Department for Agriculture is outlawing round bales of hay? Apparently they think the cows aren't getting a good square meal. Oh, and I forgot, you got your worksheet there as well, don't forget that. So it's got the little text boxes for you to enter things in, and all the tables are there as well. Enjoy your lesson.